Up, Last War family? This is OMFG Joe from Server 379. Today we're going to talk about the Spice Wars. We just kicked ours off. I'm going to break it down for you exactly what is the same as Season 2 and what has changed since Season 2, and Season 1 for that matter as well, on these battles. Before we get started, please do like, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys so much for just being members of the channel as well. Those of you who are members, and I appreciate your support. All right, let's go ahead and get it kicked off here. All right, so the Spice Wars, the thing that is is definitely staying exactly the same as last year, as last season, is that the time has not changed. The war declaration is the full day before. The invitation stage runs until 12 o'clock server time, and the prep stage, that's where you can launch your missile, goes, and that 12 is 12 server time. So like for me, that was at 8 a.m. That's 8 to 8:30, and then the battle runs from 12:30 server time. For me, that would be Central Standard, which is 8:30 to 9:10, or till 13:10. If you're looking at server time, you can do the swap to your current time just like that, and it will show you the time of day you're at as well. That's it, exactly the same as last season. Okay, so the battle times that on the calendar that you'll have is going to be that first battle starts on a Wednesday for us. That would be anybody that's watching this. If it's not Wednesday for you, it's just going to be on your day where you start your research and versus. So research versus day, and then the next battle will be on Saturday, or reset Friday night. Or excuse me, the battle will be Saturday, but that's going to be at the day that you would be doing Buster Day typically. Then what you could see here on it, I'm going to show you here real quickly. Scarlet Legion, which is which side we're on. See here, we were the attackers, but then we will defend twice. Defend, then attack, defend, attack, defend. Okay? So what you've got to do is be very strategic on how you're going to do those attacks, as far as how you're picking who you're battling, and as far as how you're going to handle the time, which for us is early on, where you're going to be double defending. You've got to defend on Saturday, and then you've got to turn right around on Wednesday and have enough troops trained up to defend again. That is not always easy for everybody. So that is something that is the same as last season. Those are a lot of the different things that are the same as last season. Now, one big thing they did change, which was pretty cool, is that the two highest ranked alliances, or servers, were elected basically as captains, and then everybody did have to do the same way as last time as far as the selections. If you were trying to get into, and I can't show you guys that right now because that's already been completed, but our alliance leader picked the specific faction, and then it was, that you could, basically, if you had too many in it, it was basically like whoever joined last got the spot, and then the team that was in before them, second to last, would get booted out. It kind of would just work like that. So, but what it did do is it prevented the two strongest servers, on paper at least, from being able to be on the same side. So that did help. So then when you're looking at your different factions and your declarations, as you can see here, we had a declaration, and then there was 3 people on the same one, so we changed our declaration. And then a second one joined in, and we changed our declaration again, and then we were able to get it to where it was solo. Okay, let's go ahead and look at, though, what my theory is and what people should try to do on these different wars. So when you're looking at these wars and you hit details here, let me just go ahead and show you that one. So Wolf played against HZC. Wolf was the one who was defending. HZC has the best chance, the best outcome by battling alone. You see these other 2 spots that are down there. That's if you can have, as it says here, allows up to 3 alliances to declare war at once. If that happens, then they then have the ability to invite others to help. So Wolf would have been able to get 2 others to help. Had Wolf done that, let's go look and see who those other 2 would have been. All right, I think you guys can guess. Nobody declared war on the top overall server, on Bomb. Okay, as far as... And then the other EL3 is the other top ranked, the highest ranked, the hardest one in that side of the factions, and no one had declared war on them. So if you have a double declaration where, say, and what we ended up having happen is that 2 people just sat out of it to avoid that from happening this round. One team sat out completely. And then on this one, I don't know if OVJ did not invite someone to join or if they just refused to join because they didn't want to lose, because this is a very strong team as well. They didn't want the chance of losing a bunch of troops to try to defend this when you don't gain any spice by protecting. And the rewards are minimal. I'll show those to you guys in a second. So they may have punted both EL3. It's possible that OVJ did not invite them. It's also possible that EL3 and Bomb just rejected that invitation. Last season, that did not happen. No one rejected any invitations. So if you ended up in a double, you were just going to probably be facing off against the 2 strongest teams. Not a great idea. So let's go look at it and show you what I mean by that. So if we go and look at 363, that's Bomb's total hero power. Lovely is all the way up at 217 million. Then Rich is 184 million. And then BB is 171 million. And Strahd is 158 million. Venom is 145 million and 141 million. And all the way down, and it takes till you get to level 10 before you've got the Deuce there. And then Logger at 11 are going to be the next, ones in their server that are not in Bomb. Bomb has got all of these great players on the same team. You don't want them joining against to try to help. Had they joined against to try to help here, we would have certainly lost. Bomb did come, because that's their server, and attack when I tried to launch the missile. That is something else that you got to watch out for, is anyone can attack the missile, even on the non-war days. The non-base attacking day, which is Wednesday. You can still get your base attacked if you are trying to launch the bomb. And for some reason, this silly game still has not changed it where it doesn't tell World Chat. It still tells World Chat for some reason where the bomb's being launched from. That's so silly. If any developers are watching, please change that. That is the silliest thing ever. The point of having the bomb, if you're going to have it for 3 minutes, if you're only going to do it for 30 seconds, fine. That's fine. But if you're going to make it be 3 minutes that it takes for the bomb to be launched, it is absolutely ludicrous to make it pop up on World Chat where anybody can go and see and attack that immediately. Or if you're going to do that, then everyone shouldn't be able to attack. It should only be the team that you're playing against should be able to attack that. That's silly to have all those things be an option. If you face an extremely strong player, a whale of sorts, you're not going to have any chance of getting your bomb off. You've got to plan against that, okay? So my theory on how this should be handled every single time is that the attacker side should make deals to avoid the 1 to 2 strongest teams on the other side, either making deals to go ahead and agree to for someone to not join in and just punt for a session, or to pick the strongest team and just not attack and just not waste troops on it, because you're not going to most likely win. I will show you guys a scenario where you could potentially win one part of it here in just a second on a big change they made that's a positive. But the other option would be you can do that, or the other option you can do would be to, and this works the same for Season 2, and 3, and if they change this to factions in Season 1, it wasn't the first time it was. When we did it, it was based on land, but if it has changed to where they do the factions in Season 1 now, you would still use the same method. But I would say that, attackers should make deals to avoid joining into battles. And in fact, if you're down here and you're the number 10 team, it really makes a lot of sense for you to shift down. And you see that it looks like they did for 1NA. They've got 10.7 million, or excuse me, they got 1.2 million in spice. It kind of makes sense to not win and shift down a grouping down to that 11 to 20. You got a lot easier shot at facing off in that grouping down from you in there. So pretty cool stuff. We're using the spice this time. Spice is a little bit more difficult to hold on to because of the spice is a little bit more difficult to grow with as opposed to last season for a couple of reasons. Let me go and show you the first one. First reason being, when you go and look inside of your Alliance Center, if you want to make a relocation, it's going to cost you 1,000 spice. Last season, that was not the case. It was coal that you would lose, and by the middle of the season, you didn't really need coal that frequently anymore. It was okay, and people were donating it every single day, so there was plenty of it left over, and it was not the overall, in Season 2, it wasn't the overarching point winner, for you, what you're going to be determined to be number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or, number 1 or number 50 or number 100 out of all the alliances was not determined by the coal. So moving your Alliance Center didn't matter. Well, now 1,000 in spice is a big deal. So people moving their Alliance Center, and I think that's probably a good thing. It makes you be strategic about whether or not you move it or not, but relocating it, even starting the process of constructing it, even if you decide not to move it, costs you 1,000 spice. That's a big deal. It can drop your ranking pretty quickly. The other thing that has made a big impact and a big difference for this season that I really like is that you're able to attack different buildings and you have to defend different buildings. So you've got the Mithril plant, which is going to hold 5%. See where it says spice lost if destroyed is 5%. I'll circle that for you there. So 5% of your stuff can be lost. Your spice can be lost there. 5% can be lost in the oil production. 5% can be lost in this Sacred Water Hut. And then this will end up becoming, and I'll show you guys in a second, you've got 10% that can be lost in the Alliance Center itself being destroyed. And then of course you can have up to 100, your whole 100 can be defending there. But if you go in here and you look at it here, that Obelisk periodically produces special items used to summon protectors once built. That one unlocks once you get to Alliance Center level 20. And then you're going to have a 5th part of the building that you're going to have to defend or that you have the ability to attack. So during the time that you're doing the attacking, it really makes a lot of sense to attack and pick 1 to 2 of these to attack first. Get those 5%ers. This one, and yes, I think I had this question, and I'm sure a lot of you do. What about once you haven't gotten to that level yet? Will this be attacked? No, it does not. You don't have that one involved in it. But overall, once you do have all of these, you could potentially lose 30% of your overall spice because you can lose the 10% here, 5, 10, 15, and 20 more, which equals a total of 30. But when you're going into your actual Alliance Center, you look at your spice totals, and these do produce things as you go to, which is great, especially having that Sacred Water and the oil. It's nice to have those. The Mithril, you start to not really need a whole lot of it. It's very similar to coal from last season, if I'm remembering last season correctly on that. But you've got to be able to protect all 5 of those buildings, and when you're strategically attacking, you want to try to attack all 5 of these buildings, as you want to try to get all of those destroyed. If you destroy the Alliance Center first, you're 10% out, okay? So as far as everything goes on it, I think it probably makes a lot of sense to put some of your strongest. We haven't done defense yet, so I don't know what our leadership will decide overall on it. I'll give my ideas for it, but people will have their overall deciding, what they decide on. But when you're going and looking at the sacred, these different areas, my theory on that would be to defend those first. And if someone so decides to try to destroy your Alliance Center off the top, you're only losing 10%. not too bad, not too shabby. Maybe it's a good loss. Losing that 10%. Do you have another 1,000 you got to have to rebuild it? Probably. I don't know. We haven't experienced that yet. Maybe some others can tell me. That's the big change of this season, though, and that's a very nice change. Obviously, a couple other things can be done to be able to do better with it, even, in my opinion. But I do like that. I like that you could destroy. And thank you, Queen Lily, one of the leaders of this alliance, for showing me that and teaching me that. That was something I needed help on learning. And so as you can see here, that's 50,000 is what that one's got in it. This one is 200,000, 50,000 to destroy it, and 50,000 to destroy all of those. So, and as we know, if you launch the missile, it's going to destroy 25%, or excuse me, 25,000 on it. So out of that 200,000, 25,000 of it would already be gone. So that would be 12.5% of that one. What I don't know is, can you target one of these buildings and kind of knock one of those out pretty fast? That might be the way to go. And then maybe somebody punts it at that point. But pretty interesting stuff. We do know we've got some skills that can go into play too. So you can kind of defend your, and I don't have one up right here, but if you go and look inside of your skill area, you've got skills like, oops, let me go ahead and use these real quickly actually. Okay, so when you're going into your professional skills, I believe this is the same for every both types of it, but you've got your sandstorm that can reduce their speed if you're dropping those. You don't want to; they don't stack, so you want to make sure you're making those squares, those 9x9 squares, spreading those out, zooming out in your menu when you're doing those. But that's a nice one. And then the other cool thing is kind of wrap these sandworm traps around your base in the gaps of where you're at, and then, or if they hit you with a bomb, drop a bunch of them right in there, because then they'll be stuck. They can't do anything until one of their teammates gets them out of the sandworm, but you can attack their base while they're in the sandworm. So pretty cool stuff. That is the basics of the similarities and the differences. Sorry, I was not able to make a video of the actual fight for you guys this time. I think I will be able to do it of us defending this Saturday. And if not this Saturday, definitely by Wednesday, I'll be able to do a video of us defending on the defending one for you guys, so you guys can watch that. Again, thank you guys as always. This is OMFG Joe from server 379 signing out.